Hey there everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica if you're new here. If you like home decor and DIYs on a budget, make sure to stick around by hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. Now today I'm super excited because I'm able to participate in Courtney from Creative on the Cheap's challenge that she has every other month. It's the Mystery Box Challenge and I haven't participated since last year. This is where she gets a bunch of us YouTube DIYers together and we each send each other a box of mystery items and we have to use those items to DIY with. So check Courtney out. Her channel's linked down below in the description box and subscribe because she is awesome. I sent my box to Whitney from Whiskey and Wit and Kristen from Kristen K sent me my box. So check out the playlist, which is linked down below in the description box, and that will link all of our videos in this challenge so that way you can go in order and you don't miss out on any of the videos. All right, now let's see what's in this box. All right, so here's the box Kristen sent me. Okay, I'm gonna open it up. I haven't opened it yet. I have no idea what's inside of it. So a little nervous. All right, so first I got a card. So I'm gonna read that first. Make sure I don't miss anything. I'll make every day a work of art. It's super pretty. She said, Jessica, I cannot wait to see what you create. Oh, the challenge items are all wrapped in Dollar Tree high-end paper towels. So that's great. All right, I'm excited. Dollar Tree high-end paper towels. Okay, let's unwrap the challenge items first because I'm super nervous. All right, so here's the first one here. These are awesome. Oh geez, a jumbo magnifying glass. Backyard travels. So I have to use this in my DIY. Oh boy. Okay. Thank you, Kristen. Wait, what's the next one? It says number 2 on here. Oh, it kind of feels a little heavy. All right. Oh boy, bungee cords. Yes, what I've always wanted to use in a DIY. Okay, and then the non-perishable item, it kind of came unwrapped, but this is the food item. And it's sprinkles. So I think I can do something with that. They're kind of colorful and pretty, so not too bad, Kristen, thank you. Here's the rest of the items that Kristen sent in the box. She said she got everything from Walmart, including the challenge items. I don't have to use all of these items today, just the challenge ones in my video. So I don't know if I'll be using these things today or saving them for future videos. But let's get to work and find out. So the first mystery item I'm tackling are the bungee cords, and I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with these, but I knew I wanted to remove the hooks away from the bungee cords. So I decided to just cut the bungee cords, and that was the easiest way to remove the hooks. And then I separated the hooks from the bungee cords, and I decided I was gonna use the bungee cords, but I didn't like the colors, so I spray painted them black. Then I used this palette board that came in the box that Kristen sent me, and I painted it with some white chalk paint. So then I decided I was going to make a memo board with the palette board and these bungee cords. There were 3 different sizes of bungee cords. There were 2 bigger ones, 2 medium-sized ones, and 2 smaller ones. So I just started with the bigger ones and laid them across the bottom of the palette board. And I used my staple gun to staple each side to the opposite side of the palette board as tightly as I could so that way they were snug. And then I did the 2 medium-sized ones the same way on the same panel you can see here. And then I did the 2 smaller ones. I ran out of staples, so I'm using these little tiny nails to secure the bungee cords down to this top palette panel here. It worked out fine, but staples worked a lot better. I made sure to trim up the ends that were showing on the palette board with my scissors
try to kind of make them more neat looking. And then I got out the hooks and I used the 3 small hooks at the top of the board here, and I just secured them with hot glue, but I would definitely recommend securing them with E6000 so they were more sturdy. And then to also clean up the bungee cords from where I messed around with them and stapled them and everything like that, I used a Sharpie marker to kind of color them in and color in the staples and the nail heads so that way you couldn't see them. Then lastly, I used 3 of the bigger hooks at the bottom of the board, and again, I used hot glue, but I would definitely recommend using E6000. And I think this turned out super cute. Alright, this next mystery item, the magnifying glass, was the most difficult. I actually made a projector, a DIY projector, but it totally failed and did not work. So I ended up taking it apart and having to come up with another idea. So I pivoted and I came up with something else. So I remembered that I had these cute little figurines that I got from a little old lady at a garage sale earlier this year for $1. They had Little Red Riding Hood, a wolf, the 3 little bears, Goldilocks, and the 3 little pigs. So I'm going to use Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. I also had this little glass box from Ikea, and I thought I could make a cute little fairy garden terrarium with these little figurines and this box. And then I could add the magnifying glass on the side to magnify everything since it was so tiny. So to get started on the terrarium fairy garden part, I'm going to add these little moss rocks that came from Dollar Tree. I'm just framing out the bottom of the box. I didn't glue any of those down just in case I wanted to change things up later on. And then in the middle, I kind of made a little path and added some sand from Dollar Tree. I wanted to add some color, so I went ahead and I had these little purple flowers from Dollar Tree. I just plucked the little flowers off and hot glued them down to the moss rock there. And then I also had these flowers that were from Target, and I thought they kind of looked like flowering bushes, so I cut the heads off of them and I hot glued them down around where the purple flowers are, just to kind of make a cute little cluster of flowers and make it look really pretty and kind of colorful and more whimsical. Next, I wanted to fill some of the gaps that you could see around the edges from where the moss didn't meet all the way up to the box. So I ended up using some of these white rocks from Dollar Tree and I just sprinkled them around just where I thought it looked good. So since I was doing Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf, I needed Grandma's house. So I had these wooden chess pieces left over from a wooden chess set from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take 4 of those pieces and hot glue those together to make a box. And then I took 2 more pieces and cut the corner off of each one of those to hot glue onto 2 opposite sides to make the peaks for my roof. And then to make my roof, I just hot glued 2 of the squares on top of those pieces. Now that I have the shape of a house, I need to kind of decorate it to make it look cute. So there were these round circle little wooden pieces in the chess set as well. So I hot glued those kind of just overlapping each other, starting from the bottom of each side of the roof to make it look like I had shingles on my roof. So now I wanted to decorate the outside of the house with some stones, so I grabbed a handful of river rock from my garden outside, and I used the smallest of the pebbles that I could find to hot glue down to this house. And on one side I did make a little archway for a door to draw out a door, and I just kept hot gluing all the way around all 4 sides of the house and the peaks as well, just to fill everything in to make it look like a cute little whimsical grandma's house. Then I took my marker and I drew my door in. On hindsight, I should have done this first before I attached the stones, but I still think it worked out fine. Then I just added my little house to my terrarium, and I had to take out one of the moss rocks for that. And then I decided to add a few of these yellow flowers next to the house. I just cut them. They were from Dollar Tree, and I hot glued them down. And then I added my little Red Riding Hood, and I added my wolf. I did add a little bit of hot glue to each foot of the wolf to glue him down to the moss, but the little girl I just sat inside the sand. So now comes the magnifying glass. I didn't need the handle, so I just lifted that piece up and unscrewed the top, and the magnifying glass came right out. I cleaned it up from where I'd used it on the last project that failed, and I just added some hot glue around the rim of the magnifying glass and hot glued it to the box. The magnifying glass was a little scratched up from the last project and trying to get the paint off, but it still looks super cute. I did want to cover up the hot glue as much as I could around where I glued it at on the rim, so I took a little gold paint that I had and I just painted around that edge. And I love how this project turned out. Last but not least, the third mystery twist item, the sprinkles. And for these, I'm gonna head to the kitchen, but I'm not making cupcakes, I'm gonna make a candle. I need something for my sprinkles to stick to, so I'm gonna make a simple syrup with just a cup of sugar, a cup of water, and I'm gonna bring that to a boil for 10 minutes. You could use corn syrup if you have that available. Then I am going to pour that syrup into a glass mason jar, and that syrup's really hot, so definitely use some oven gloves to hold on to the glass. And then I poured the excess out, and now I'm gonna take my sprinkles and I'm just going to place those inside the mason jar with the syrup, and they're gonna stick to the syrup. And I'm just gonna keep putting them in there until the whole jar is completely coated in the sprinkles. Now that all the sprinkles are in the jar, I'm going to set that aside and let that cool while I melt my wax. So I'm just going to use this stainless steel pitcher. It's for melting wax, and I'm going to use 3 Dollar Tree vanilla scented candles, and I'm just going to put that in some boiling water and let those candles melt down, making sure to take out the wicks after everything is melted so I don't get those wicks in my new candle that I make. This took about 30 minutes for these 3 candles to melt. Once they were completely melted, I poured that wax into my new sprinkles candle, and then I just used a new wick that I had, and I used a paintbrush to hold that wick in place to try to keep it in the center while the candle dried. It took about 24 hours for the candle to fully set up, and then once it was set, I came back and just snipped the wick with some scissors and added a cute little bow, and now I have a birthday cake candle. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the playlist down below for my friends' videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.